Hey Soul Tribe, Tracy here with Sweet Spot e-magazine. Thank you so very much for the likes, shares, views, subscribes, comments, donations, everything. I appreciate it all. Membership, I appreciate it all. We're going to ring the bell. We're going to go ahead and clear out the energy, and then we're going to see what the message the Spirit has for us. Hey Shaylin. Something was working for this warlock. And then, just like that, it stopped. They don't know what happened. They're still trying to figure this out because it was going oh so chef's kiss perfectly. And then all of a sudden, they're feeling played. Bottom of the deck. It's like somebody received a gift. Somebody received a gift about this warlock, about these magic tricks. And somebody wasn't expecting, or this warlock wasn't expecting for someone to receive this gift. Hey, LP. And that gift was the truth, the answer, the antidote on how to stop it. Like someone said, if you speak it out loud, it no longer has any hold on you. If you see it for what it is and you put it into the air, you say it, it's over. Someone ended it. They closed this cycle. They broke the curse that somebody had kept them bound for so many different cycles. And now that same warlock is trying to figure out what happened. Hey, Lightworker William. See, somebody thought that they had you on the right track. You was going in the right direction, and you was doing everything that they wanted you to do. But then all of a sudden, you turned your back. Hey, Coconut Love Pain, how are you? Palm, Coconut Love Palm. Hold on, put these things on. I can't see without them. Yeah, hey, Coconut Love Palm, that sounds better. Hey, Ayana. Yeah, you turned your back on this. On this warlock. Because this warlock thought that they was getting ready to get a whole lot of money. That they was going to get a position. That they were going to be able to do everything, including talk you out of your drawers. Hey, High Priestess. Somebody, they got the antidote. They spoke up. They spoke their piece, and now they're able to move forward peacefully. And that warlock, oh, poor thing. Someone's heart is feeling like it's in pain. Because this warlock thought that they could, it was almost like a love spell. It was a love spell. It was how they said their words. That they was able to put this curse over somebody for so long. Yeah. And see, this witch, the person who did the love spell, now they're finding out that someone is healing themselves. Not just healing themselves, but they are returning all of those curses back to when they came. Somebody spoke up. They spoke out. They said the curse out loud. And it's almost like it created such chaos in this warlock or this witch's life that now they're being attacked. Now everything is going right back around to them. They're the ones that's under attack. And somebody is able to go free. Now, like I said, this warlock or this witch, they're sitting here wondering, how in the hell did you figure this out? They're trying to think of everything. They thought they had all their bases covered. And they thought that, they could keep up this love spell forever. But see, they didn't realize that somebody was doing some checking behind the scenes. Somebody who felt like that they weren't sure, but they was opening up their mind enough just to try and figure out, hey, Angelique, hey, Letitia. It's like they opened up their mind just enough to try and wonder, am I truly under a curse? Am I truly is my mind being manipulated? Am I being mind fucked? What's really going on? Because they're thinking about everything that's happened, and they're also thinking, why would I do this? Like they trying to figure out, how come I didn't say no? How come I didn't walk away? How come I didn't do this? Why didn't I do that? Especially whenever it came to this relationship, this very important relationship, and it's almost like they like somebody, one of the two was talking about something, was giving out some information, was talking, about what to do. And maybe they read about it, they heard it on the internet, they saw it in the email, they received a text or something, but somebody finally opened up their mind enough to try it. I feel like somebody finally gave them what they needed to know, told them what they needed to know, provided just enough what they needed to do. Because I feel like this person had been through it too. Yeah, they were under a curse. They were under the deepest, darkest, most dungeonous curse that they could ever think of. And now that, that they are broken free, they see it for what it is. They see this devil. They see this warlock. And they know that, what, this was nothing but the devil. This person is trying to figure out, when did this happen? How long ago? How come they didn't see it? What was it about? What somebody said. When did somebody actually do this? But whatever it is, whenever it happened, that shit is over now. It's done. Somebody spoke up. They spoke out. Now this person is free. They're free to go wherever they want to go. And they're not listening any longer. They're not talking anymore to those that they know had their mind fucked. They're no longer entertaining those people. This could have been somebody in their family, somebody that they looked up to, somebody that they thought they knew. But this was somebody that wanted to take them out, purposely wanted to unalive them. This is somebody who spent time, years, betraying them. Hey, Melissa. Hey, Angel. Angel Light Tarot, how are you? There's somebody else too. Hey, SNK Pokey, how are you? Hey, Letitia, how are you? Yeah, somebody finally got the courage that they needed, to break this spell that was placed over their life. And now, this coven, everybody in this coven is receiving karma because the spell is over. It's no longer working. And now somebody is able to, go back to what they wanted to do. Go back to what they was truly working on. Go back to what is truly going to make them happy, and not think about, this where they was being led to go, because they were being led to the slaughter. This King of Cups is thinking about, everything that was invested, everything that they invested, everything, almost like everything that they worked towards, but almost like they had lost. It's almost like this coven, was they were not trying to give up at all. They weren't trying to give up. They were actively doing whatever they could to keep somebody underneath this trance. But like I said, somebody broke free. Not only did they break free, but they ran the fuck up out of there. Not only did they run the fuck up out of there, but they did whatever they could to block them people, to protect themselves. This King of Cups previously had pushed this Queen of Cups out in the cold. And that was part of the spell. That was part of the spell to keep them trapped, to keep them stuck, because then they felt like there was nowhere else for them to go. But you know what? The thing about that Queen of Cups is almost like, this was the love is never ending, that the love is everlasting. They always were able to feel that love. They it was like that King of Cups was thinking about, all the different years, all the different times and everything, and thinking about that Queen of Cups and that love. And it's there. It's like, no matter what spell it is, that Queen of Cups may have had to remove herself, but if she removed herself, it was because she saw that King of Cups was under such a deep spell, there was nothing that she could do to get through. It was almost like she had to distance herself so that he could work that shit out. And now somebody's sending this message, and they're asking for help on, how to protect themselves. Because this judgment call has been made. That King of Cups made this judgment call that they need some additional assistance. Because, in the past, this Queen of Cups, she was able to do it. And she was able to get away. She was able to save herself. She was able to break the spell. And, and I feel like this is that King of Cups that was looking at this Queen of Cups, like how her life went up. how she didn't suffer. Not only that, but I feel like there was an ancestor, a passed over loved one. Hey, J. Mike. You know, somebody that was there to tell the truth, about who they thought was this emperor that had somebody stuck. Because it's not all the time that the emperor is the good person. There's a lot of times that those emperors, you know, it's like something about that control. Somebody, they wanted to have tight control over a situation. But, you know, it was like something about this family curse. Somebody wanted to keep this family curse going on. Hey, K Hyphy. And so that's why they kept somebody, trying to keep somebody underneath this spell, for them to continue to do this weird shit, stuff that, you know, it was kind of crazy. Like things they were doing, this person was doing things that they didn't even understand. Like, why did I just do this? This is not even me. Well, what's really going on? Because they wanted this family curse to remain. If the family curse remained, then they would still be in control. You know, but I feel like this warlock didn't realize that you were so strong, that you were so well connected, that it was, you know, your gifts, your guidance, you being able to see past that situation that helped somebody else to snap out of it. And now somebody is upset and regret because, like I said, everything that they every part of that curse that they put on somebody else is going back to them, and there's nothing that they can do. Somebody's planning to come see you. They're planning to come see you, and I don't feel like they can wait. They're excited. They're excited to tell you this news. They're excited to let you know they are free. They're excited to let you know it's because of what you said, how you helped them, that now they are free. Hey, Crystal Healing Self-Love, how are you? Hey. Yes. What's the message, Spirit? What's the message? Did I say hello to you, K Hyphy? If I didn't, I'm saying hello now. Hey, Jay, how are you? Nice to see you. What's the message, Spirit? What is the message? Yeah, somebody's shocked that their shit is not working any longer. They no longer have control. Yeah. And like I said, now they're the ones that's on the chopping block. You know, this warlock is trying to figure out, how did all of these swords come back and get them? Like, how did this go this bad, this fast? And like I said, everybody is fighting with each other now. They're trying to figure this shit out, because everything came right back around, and it's coming, and it's happened so quickly. And you know, like I said, they was trying to figure out, wait, so-and-so was just under the spell. How did they get out of it? Did somebody, who told? Did somebody give somebody the key? Did they give them the information? Who told? Because now their heart is broke. Now they can't sleep at night. Because, like I said, their word spell is not wording anymore. The spell ain't spelling. The math ain't mathing no more. And they know that shit is coming right back to them. What's the message, Spirit? Jay, I'm great. Thank you. What's the message, Spirit? Yeah, somebody, they don't know how this shit happened. Because it's like they had just did a fresh spell. And it didn't work. You know, they had just said, "Ali, Ali, oxen free," or whatever the spell was, and it just didn't work because somebody said, "Okay, I know the antidote. I'm saying what just happened. I'm saying what it is that you wanted to place over me." Somebody already said it. That's why this shit did not work. You know, and this is something that they have been, you know, they've been doing over and over and over to this King of Cups. And they weren't going to stop. They weren't going to stop because they was getting some of the energy, but they just needed a little bit more. They needed a little bit more. Because it's almost like they were siphoning this energy from this King of Cups. They just needed a little bit more to have all of it. But then all of a sudden, this King of Cups started standing up for himself, started protecting himself. And like I said, once he said what it was, oh, then everybody started fighting with each other because they knew they could no longer. It was no longer with him, and they couldn't figure out why they fighting all of a sudden. You know, everybody was working in tandem with each other, and then all of a sudden, one day they start arguing with each other. They getting the bats and the poles and the knives, and they threatening each other. They can't sit there and eat with each other anymore because somebody woke up. Somebody said those words. Somebody is enlightened. Confirmation. What's the message, Spirit? What's the message? Yeah. Somebody received the best gift since a long time. This is almost like Christmas came early. Instead of having to wait for December, Christmas came in January this year. Somebody received a gift that they appreciate. Hey, Diesel Gravy. How are you? High Priestess. Right. Once you have, hold on, let me put these on so I can read. Once you have the magic glasses on, nothing ever looks the same. Once you have truth and see things as they are. Hey, Melissa. K Hyphy, thank you so very much. I really do appreciate your generosity so very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. What's the message, Spirit? Thank you. Yeah, everything is going right back around to them. You know, they can't switch it up anymore. Now it is going right back to them. And like I said, they arguing. They don't want to talk to each other, you know, and it's like somebody's taking control of their life. And that wheel of fortune is now going in that person's favor because they decided to take control of their life. And they're thinking about this love that they swore up and down they didn't want, but they know they want it. It's because that they was under somebody else's control. Hey, supernatural genie. Yeah. And it's like this, they're no longer willing to do this old crazy shit. Somebody that they know that's the shit that they don't need to do. Now somebody is relying on their intuition, especially whenever it comes to somebody trying to curse them. Someone is relying on their intuition. Somebody has woken up. And they're coming towards you. First, they want to ask for your forgiveness. Then they want to have an adult conversation. And then, like I said, they need to gain strength. They need to gain courage because they know that this devil is not going to rest. That, like I said, this warlock knows that they were so close to having everything that they wanted. Like, they already had 7 pentacles. They only needed 3 more. And they know that this devil is not going to leave them alone. This devil, they're going to have to stomp on them. They're going to have to finish them so that this devil doesn't get what it wants. Hey, Lightworker William. Did I say hello, LP? And I think what shocks them the most, what they don't understand the most, what they didn't see the most was this person. Trying to have control. That's what they didn't understand. That's what they didn't see. That's what they didn't expect. But you know what? You told them. And they thought that you were crazy. Now they understand that they were just being immature. Especially since everything is out in the open. Hey, Addie. And they have proof. That's why they're coming straight to you. You could see through somebody else's facade. You could see through the veil. You looked in somebody's eyes and you saw that devil within them. Whereas somebody else didn't. Confirmation. It's almost like they couldn't bring themselves to look. It's almost like they were still afraid. Boy, I'm just hearing, when you get sick and tired of being sick and tired, that's whenever you open up your mind enough to understand that there's a whole lot of shit that goes on that you may not be aware of, that you may not even believe. But just because you don't believe it don't mean it ain't true. So all these secrets started coming out. And somebody was shocked. It's like the more they listened, the more they heard. The more they heard, the more that they were flabbergasted. Especially whenever it came to this relationship. Like I said, they were so immature. It doesn't have nothing to do with age. They were just in an immature state of mind that they said, "Oh no, that can't be true. That surely is not true. They're making that up." Only to find out that shit was the 100% honest to God truth. What's the message? What's the message? Yes. Somebody understood the truth now about how somebody put a love spell on them. to make it seem like they was just so great and you was just so horrible. But see, they need to rely on God. Is the only one that can fight this devil. God is what gives you strength. God is what gives you strength. See, somebody had to realize that. It's easy to fall under the spell of the devil. Yep. Not just that, but somebody's looking at you and they realize something about you. You truly are an earth angel. They're not laughing. Okay, I think we're back. See, before they was, it was the joke around town about, oh yeah, collector's an earth angel. And it was like, yeah, laughing it up, chuckling it up with the devil. But the devil knew that you really are. And so the devil was just laughing because they're thinking, as long as this person laughs, I'm going to laugh too. But now they see it. Not only do they see it, they believe it. It's not funny any longer. Especially after you walked away and there was nothing that anyone could do because you were so protected. Do you know how many times they tried to cast spells over you after you walked away? Do you know you're not even supposed to be here? You're not supposed to be living, breathing, eating, talking. None of it. They tried to take you down time and time and time again. And you know what? Each time they failed because you're too heavily protected. God is pouring God's love all over you. They couldn't get to you. Everything that they tried failed. Confirmation. Everything that they tried failed. Everything failed. And your passed over loved ones was gathered around you. Confirmation. Were gathered around you, making sure that you were safe. Because you know what? You're here for a reason. You are that generational curse breaker. And you're the first one that's actually going to be able to break the curse. And what they did was they tried to use somebody that you were so close to get them in the fold, to try and keep them. Because if it was just you, even though you spoke it, you broke it and everything else, if they could keep this person there, then it's almost like it would almost like negate everything that you did and they would still win. But since this person woke up and since this person spoke it and broke it, they don't win. They all lose. Every last one of them. And that's why every curse that they try to throw on you, every curse that they try to throw on this other person, that's why it's all going back to them. That's why they're all arguing, fussing, fighting. They're threatening each other. I'll kill you. I'll hurt you. I'll do this. I'll do that. Hey, Noni. How are you? What's the message? Hey, Latasha. How are you? What's the message? They are upset. They're upset because, like I said, they were so close. And they don't understand why it didn't work. Confirmation. Because it's almost like, and you know what? The part that I think the part that's really kind of getting them the most is because the person that, was under the curse that had to break free, they thought that this person was going to be forthcoming with them. But this person wasn't. They did a trick on the ones that was trying to do the tricks. They did the reverse double Jedi mind trick on them motherfuckers. Where somebody thought that, oh, they're never going to get out of it. That person was thinking the entire time, how do I get out of this? And they finally did it. They finally broke it. And now they're free. They are also using their own intuition. They know that they needed to separate themselves because they knew that, it was just, they was, like I said, this curse was placed on them, and these people were so close. They had 7 of these pentacles. They only needed a few more. They didn't think that this earth angel was going to give the information and somebody could make a plan. Like, they didn't think that this person was even paying attention to you. In fact, if they asked this person about you, this person was like, I ain't listening to that. They kept playing the game. That was the best thing for them, was to keep playing the game. Sometimes you gotta play the fool to fool the fool who thinks they're fooling you. And that person didn't. They played the fool. And they fooled the fools who thought that they was fooling that person. What's the message, Spirit? What's the message, Spirit? What's the message? Anything else from this deck? Thank you. Yeah. See, they didn't, you know what? This was like 2 8s right in a row. 8 of Cups and 8 of Swords. When this person walked away, after they spoke it out, whatever that curse was, whenever they walked away, that's whenever everybody got trapped by their own shit. And now, when they walked away, they went right back to you. They're coming back to you. It is taking a while, but they are on that horse. They're coming. Hey, Red Violet. Like I said, this person now, they believe you when you say you are an earth angel, when you say you have shaman energy, when you say that you have gifts, when you say that you are a high priestess, when you say, that you are an indigo child, whenever you say, whatever you say, this person believes the hell out of you now. Because now it ain't no joke. Like I said, somebody's making a plan to come back to you where they feel it's safe. And they regret ever doubting you. Trust and believe. They regret doubting your gifts. It's almost like somebody had to stop and think to themselves, wait a minute. How dare me doubt the collective has these gifts? Because look at how far collective has gotten. Look at how much collective has done. Look at everything. And nobody has been able to pull one over, take control, put you in a position, nothing like that. So this is what made this person really start to think about things. How dare them discount you. Bottom of the deck, the Emperor. And they were shocked to find out that the Emperor was the main one lying, the main one causing problems. That it was this Emperor that had these sneaky plans, and how the Emperor was lying about you. And you told the truth the entire time. You were happiness. You were peace. You were joy. And they sat there and they listened to the Emperor. And that's whenever they started sitting back thinking, wait a minute. As I'm listening to the Emperor, my life was getting darker. I'm becoming more unhappy. I'm becoming more confused. I'm losing a hell of a lot more. I ain't gaining shit. So it's like they had to start thinking. Those curses, oh, they're coming fast. These people cannot sleep because they know everything that they did in the dark. And like I said, they can't sleep. Everything that you do in the dark is coming to the light. And their shit has come to the light. Everything is coming right back around to them. And they're going to have to be just as strong as you were. Yes. Somebody's getting the message. Somebody's already getting the message. You may be hearing about somebody that's now homeless. Somebody that no longer has a place to call their own. And they feel like they don't have anybody to rely on. Somebody, you may hear about somebody else who they swear up and down is possibly going to a psych ward. How somebody else has just lost their job, how they just lost it all, how somebody else's health is failing. You're going to hear about it, especially this year. They can't believe this Emperor did them so dirty. And they put so much trust and faith in this person, only to find out that this is the one that had them under some type of spell. This person was like, they couldn't move. Somebody had spoke some shit, and this person was like, truly could not move. And it was all because of this plan to unalive you. Yes, I'm telling you, they wanted to seriously unalive you. The devil was behind this. All of it. Had this person not woken up, it may have worked. But you know what? Karma, don't ever forget an address. Especially when it comes to you. Especially when it comes to you. Because you didn't do anything to anybody. All you were trying to do was live your life. But see, the devil wanted to take it. But you always felt that there was some shit in the game. You could feel the energy in the air. You could hear somebody whenever they was saying shit that you knew that they was lying. There wasn't anything that they could get over on you. That's why you kept to yourself. That's why you prayed for God to deliver you. And God heard your prayers. What's the message, Spirit? Yep. Somebody knew exactly what to say to stop these curses. They knew exactly what to say. You know, it's like this person, like I said, they was listening to you after all. This is not going to be the first time that you find out that this person was listening to you, because you can remember a time in the past whenever you had spoken some things to somebody and it seemed like they didn't hear you at all until months or years later you heard them repeat that same thing as it was in defense of themselves or protecting themselves. That's when you knew that, you know what you do say does matter. They do hear you. They may not follow it all the time at that time when you want them to, but thank God they hear you. They heard you. They heard you. And like I said, it took them a while to wake the fuck up. But thank God they woke the fuck up. Hey, I May, how are you? How are you? Thank you so very much. Back at you, baby. Back at you. What's the message, Spirit? Yes, Lightworker William, we warned them. They didn't believe in God. Thank you, Red Violet. What'd you say? They believed in their bar games. They don't anymore. Now they see and they understand exactly what you was talking about. Exactly what you was talking about, because everything is out in the open. They can't not see it. Once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Once you know it, you cannot unknow it. Just like, you know, people that pick up tarot cards, once they pick them up, it's like it's there. You can put them down. You can make yourself not use them again, but you still know the answer. You still feel that energy. You still, have that within you. You won't ever go back to sleep. Ever. Hey, Crystal, Healing Self-Love. That's right. You cannot unsee what you know. Once you know God, you won't unknow God. You won't ever forget God. You'll always, once you believe, once you have that faith, once you really believe, it's there. It never goes away. What's that song? Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego, in the fiery furnace were tossed. Everybody thought the end was near, but they had faith in the Lord above to come and save the day. And I thought I heard my people say, hey, my Lord's going to come in the morning. My Lord's going to stay through the night. My Lord's going to watch over me, and everything is going to be all right. Once you know God, you know my Lord is going to watch over me, and everything is going to be all right. What's the message, Spirit? Yeah. See, the devil thought that he won, only to find out he didn't. He was crossed out yet again. This was a soul that he was not going to be able to take. What's the message? And the devil's mad. Oh, he's so mad. And that devil is telling somebody owe me some money. Because I was getting ready to have that soul. Somebody's going to pay. And they're scared. That's why they're fighting. Because they're trying to figure out who's going to be the sacrificial lamb. Who's going to be the scapegoat? Because you know what? The one that they thought that they was this close. They only needed 3 more pentacles until they was going to be able to zap that soul and that spirit right out of that person. Now they don't know what the fuck to do. What's the message, Spirit? They don't know what to do. That's why they're fighting. That's why they're trying to take each other down. You know, like they say, crabs in a barrel. They stepping all over each other, trying to get up and trying to get out, trying to get as far away, because they don't want to be in the sight of the devil. They don't want the devil to say, "You get your ass over here," because they ain't none of them about that life for real. None of them about that life. They all scared. Hey, Julie, how are you? How you doing, baby? Yes. You know, but this person, it's like they have this idea, and it's like they've been working on this idea, or you had an idea, and you've been working on this idea, or you had faith. You knew you had something, and you've been working on this for a while. This is just increased over time. Whether this is, your faith, whatever, it is just increased over time. It's just gotten sturdier. It's gotten better. You're more engaged. You're stronger. There's nothing that anyone can do that scares you, because you don't even give a shit. You like, I'm gonna let God handle that. God's got me. God's got it. Oh, that's what you want to do? Good luck with that. Like I said, this person, they ever since they was a child, it's like somebody's been working on them ever since they was a child. Somebody's been working on them. Somebody's been working on getting them stuck, getting them so that they was in some type of trance, so that confirmation, so that they couldn't go anywhere, so that they wouldn't move, so that they would be right there. I want you to go to sleep. Go to sleep, little baby. Go to sleep. But then all of a sudden, like I said, they heard some information from this healer. They heard some information that this is how you're going to get out of this. This is what you need to do. This is what you need to say. This is how you need to do it. This is how you need to say it. You need to look them in the eye, and you need to repeat everything to them that you know to not be true. And that's how you're going to break that curse. See, this warlock didn't want this relationship to flourish. Didn't want God, because God placed you two together. This warlock wanted to come in the middle. And like I said, this person is shocked to feel like, damn, this emperor, this is somebody I looked up to. This is the motherfucker that's been lying to me all the damn time. This is the one who had these ideas of putting 10 swords, of unaliving, of obliterating, of canceling somebody out. And now somebody is afraid because all that shit that they did is coming right back on them. Like I said, they were so fucking close. So close. This close. And now they don't know what the fuck they're going to do. What's the message, Spirit? They don't know what the fuck they're going to do. But they are afraid, as they should be. They should be very afraid. But you're not. because you always knew that whatever God was giving you, the blessings, the love, the protection, what do they say? Pressed down, shaken together, running over. Somebody is celebrating their independence. They are celebrating their independence. They finally got the courage to come out the cold. Finally got the courage to come out the cold. They finally saw what it was that was in that cup that kept them in that perpetual heartbreak. They finally found what it was that kept them stuck. And they finally realized why this warlock kept your name in their mouth. They finally saw the truth, heard the truth, and believed the truth. Finally. What's the message, Spirit? What's the message? Yep. They finally believed the truth. They finally see what it is, what you've been telling them all along. You know, they stopped. And like I said, you can't make this up. They finally believe what you have been telling them all along. That, you know what, they had been mind manipulated. They've been lied to. And this person was even like, oh, I can't be manipulated. You was like, motherfucker, have you never believed a fucking lie? If you believed a lie, only to find out later on that wasn't the truth, it was a lie, what do you think the fuck that is? That's that mind fuck manipulation. Somebody had to finally wake the fuck up. Then they had to get a plan in place about what they was going to do so that they could end it. They finally had to, like I said, they was listening to you on the internet. They was reading the text. They was looking at different YouTube videos. They was looking at something. They was at the library. They was doing something to find out how they can get out of this, how they could heal themselves, what it was that they could do to get the fuck away from this warlock. Hey, Josie, how are you, baby? Hey, Jazzy Jazz. Now somebody, they finally realizing, you know, why you stopped repeating yourself, because this person was under some type of trance. And this coven, and, you know, they had to stop hanging out with the coven because they realized it was this coven too. They kept with the word, you know, the love spell, the word magic and everything. They kept them down, kept them depressed, kept them confused. They had to let everybody go. They had to finally get the courage to say what it was that they needed to say to the warlock's face, to the witch's face. They had to express it out in the fucking open so that they could finally break that curse and gain the protection that they needed. Sorry, y'all. And everybody was shocked because this is somebody who always held shit in. Always held shit in. But they finally said it. They finally opened up that throat chakra and they said it. That's what freed them. That's when they experience that truth will set you free. It's not just about knowing it. Sometimes you got to speak it out. Sometimes you got to let somebody know you are no longer in control of me because Ali Oskin set me free, or whatever the fucking words they were. That's when they started moving forward. That's when they took charge of their own fucking life. That's whenever this King of Cups was finally set free. And like I said, these motherfuckers is going through it right now because all that shit came right back around on them. They don't know what the fuck they doing. Hey, Eric, how are you? They don't know what the fuck they doing. All they know is they was getting along one day. Next thing you know, they fighting with each other. Hey, Josie. Hey, Eric. I said, hey, Jazzy Jazz. Hi, Ayana. What else, Spirit? Anything else? Anything else? What'd you say, Lightworker William? Hold on. What'd you say? Right, you are, Tracy. The truth has to be spoken to set you free. Exactly. We gain nothing from lying. Exactly. See, this group, they had this plan, but this group is seeing that that plan isn't working. Because like I said, all they needed was 3 more pentacles so that they could have everything that they wanted, so that they could have somebody's soul. But the plan did not work. The plan did not work. This was in, they was working on this ever since this person was a little child. All they needed was 3 more to have that full 10. Thank God you said something. Thank God that they listened. What's the message, Spirit? Thank you so very much, Josie. I appreciate it. I appreciate you all, seriously. Anything else? Anything else from the stack? Anything else from the stack? Thank you. Yes. That curse has been broken. The generational curse is no more. There's nothing that they can do. There's nothing that they can do. These ancestors, everybody's in heaven. They clapping. They doing backflips. They're like, yay! Bravo! Bravo! They are so happy right now. God is so happy right now because guess what, collective? You saved an important soul. Lightworker William, thank you so very much and welcome to the Sweet Spot Soul Tribe. You saved an important soul. And this was what you were here to do. And it's not just this one soul. There's several others. It's like your word has to get out. You have to make sure that you are saying what needs to be said. You're sharing what needs to be shared. You're doing what needs to be done. I mean, you have to, this is not just it. It's like, this is just something that's very important, but your work continues. Your work goes on. Remember, it is a spiritual battle. See, they just didn't know that you was related to Jesus and the ascended masters. They didn't know this. They thought that you was regular schmegular. Somebody had to find the courage and the inner strength. And they finally found it. They finally found it. Because guess what? Time was running out. They were so close to snatching this soul. So close. What's the message? Something about a king or a queen. And I feel like there's somebody that's now able to put on their crown. Because they're no longer a page. They're no longer a knight. They are a king or a queen. So this is somebody who's realizing that they have to stand for something and only fear God, not the devil. When we are afraid, we call on God. Just like that song that y'all know I can't sing. But just like that song I was trying to sing. Somebody has to realize that everything is not just in black and white. There's a whole lot of greatness. See, people like, oh, if I can't see it, it don't exist. Wrong. Somebody had to wake up to their own spiritual journey. Spiritual being the key word. Now, like I said, it's time to get to work. For the collective, it is time for us to get to work. Somebody's a little nervous, understandably. It's understandably that somebody is a little nervous. But you know what? Something about somebody's social network, prosperity, or fulfilling of dreams, their 11th house, it's important, you know. And I feel like with that social network, it's time to spread the word. It's time to make sure that hey, we go out there and actually save souls. It's not so much that you got to lay hands, nothing like that. But you have to speak out. You have to let people know. You have to you have to say it. You know, I know that Lightworker William, I know that you have a channel. I am subscribed. I know K Hypsee, you have a channel. I am subscribed. It's like y'all got to get on there, you know. And I know that K Hypsee, you know, Lightworker William, I know that it's like y'all need to get your messages a little bit longer. You guys need to make sure that you are doing it. Don't be afraid to talk about it. Because what you guys are doing is wonderful. Anybody else have a channel that I need to subscribe to? Let's do it. We can collaborate. They didn't know that somebody, and K Hypsee, aren't you a 33? Aren't you a master vibration 33? See, somebody had to do it alone in order to grow. That's why you had to leave somebody. It was time for them to grow. Oracle Knowledge. All right. What's the name of your channel? Jazzy Jazz, put your channel. Put your TikTok in there. Put it in the comments. I will follow you. Oracle Knowledge. What's your channel's name? Please put it in there. What's the message, Spirit? Okay. What's the message? And Oracle Knowledge, is that your channel's name? Let me know. What's the message, Spirit? Okay. So Oracle Knowledge channel's name is Oracle Knowledge. Jazzy Jazz's TikTok is called Jasmine Antoinette. See, something that this person realized that there's a destined partnership with you. Like, once you start believing, once you start praying and believing and having faith, that's whenever things start to come to you, and they finally realize that there's a destined partnership with you. That's why they had to get on the good foot. Because other than that, they was just going to be left spiritually unprotected. See, they realized that about that emperor. This is why it was such a shock to them, because that emperor had everything, all the riches and the gold and everything, but they started listening to what that emperor was talking about, and they realized that emperor had bought a whole house for a friend and left the child homeless. That's when they realized who they was dealing with. That's when they realized what they was up against. That's when they realized that was not somebody that they needed to follow. Yes. And you know what, Lightworker Williams, sometimes you have to say it. Sometimes people need to hear it. It's not so much of you getting angry, but you got to put the truth out there. You can't just gloss over it. It's not so much that people are going to get the message and learn and understand and really start thinking for themselves if they're only hearing about the sweet puppies and the cute little kittens. Sometimes you got to talk about those mean motherfucking dragons that's out in the streets too. Don't be afraid to say it. Don't be afraid to put it out there. Oh, I love you too. Because we it's like sometimes you have to, it's not like you trying to cuss nobody out, but sometimes you got to let people know, hey, you fucking up. You really fucking up royally. I mean, seriously. Everybody, you sitting there going, oh, roses are red and violets are blue. People don't understand that you mean, listen, get your shit together. They don't hear that when they hear the roses are red and violets are blue. Whenever the people hear, listen here, motherfucker, you better get your shit straight. That's when they hear you. Although you don't have to use those exact words. And because people do stupid stuff for attention. Sometimes if that's the message, then let them know you doing stupid shit for fucking attention. Because we like to think, well, in theory, but sometimes we just got to keep it real. We can't talk about in theory. Sometimes we just got to talk about keeping it real. And we have to understand that we're not alone here on the 3D. There are ancestors, there are spirit guides, there are archangels. God is here with us. Something could have happened last weekend. Or maybe this is the last weekend that this shit is going to happen. What's the message, Spirit? Thank you. And something could be happening on Tuesday. What's the message, Spirit? Remember that you are in a prestigious class. This is why we have to get the word out. This is why we have to do the God's work, the Lord's work, the Most High's work. There's a new world traveler. Maybe you're going to be a new world traveler and enjoy life or something. And remember that somebody had to realize that this entire time they was out for their blood. They wasn't trying to be nice. Sometimes the niceness, that niceness, I don't know. It's like when people try to be too nice, I know that they're being sneaky. Because ain't nobody that fucking nice. Even them Southern Belles, ain't nobody that fucking nice. Yeah, somebody lost a job, but God was trying to tell them something. Somebody had to actually wake up and realize, yes, we do have an issue. Maybe somebody tried to, do we have an issue? Somebody had to say, yes, the fuck we do have an issue. And maybe they had to realize this is nothing but a trauma bond. But you know what? You are not the usual type. Somebody's going to be traveling. Somebody is going to be traveling, and they're going to be speaking. They're going to be speaking about these fucking energy vampires. And these bottled up emotions, that's not good. Nobody's going to be free if you keep that shit bottled up. And that's why people are depressed. Because they're bottling up that shit. Let that shit go. Their actions are catching up to them, and they are fucking guilty. Yes, this is whenever the scapegoat turns into the greatest of all time. And which one of us was not the scapegoat at some time in our life? So now it's time for us to turn into the greatest of all time and get out there. Do what we got to do. Not what we want to do, but what we have to do. It's easy to sit back and just be all comfy and warm, and it's too cold to get out there. But this is what we have to do. See, karma can show them better than we can tell them. Something about somebody's true love. Somebody had to show what it was about true love. And that's whenever somebody had to realize not to compete where they don't even fucking compare. Because they can't compare to somebody's true love. This was an undercover backstabbing brother was trying to take somebody down. Somebody else's ego, their own ego fooled them and fucked them up. What else, Spirit? Confirmation. Yes, sometimes something about telling the devil no. Standing up. And always having that time to do some self-reflection. Remember, we write our own book of life. So let's make it a good one. Let's go ahead and say what needs to be said. Let's go ahead and do what needs to be done so that whenever after we're no longer here, after our time is, after we've done whatever we needed to do and God has called us home and they're reading our book of life, they're going to be like, damn, this person really was the greatest of all time. This person really did love the masses. This person really did do what God asked her or him to do. Let's go ahead and swing the pendulum. See what the message the Spirit has for us. So think of your question. And let's ask Spirit, what is the answer to the question? Looks like it's no. because it's swinging left or right. All right, y'all. Thank you so much. K Hypsee, thank you so much for your wonderful donation. I really appreciate it. Lightworker William, thank you so very much for your membership. I really do appreciate it. All right, y'all. I'm going to go ahead and make sure that I just found my TikTok, how to get back on. So, Jazz, I'm going to go ahead and follow you on TikTok. And also, wait a minute. Let me put these suckers on. Wait a minute. Where's it at? And Oracle Knowledge. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and subscribe to you. Okay. All right, y'all. Thank you so very much. I love you so very much. And I'll see y'all in the morning. Okay. I'm also going to post up a quick weekly that I did. I'm also going to post that. Okay. All right, y'all. Have a good evening. I love you so much. All right. Bye now.